Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of a chit-chatty video where I answer some frequently asked questions, give a couple of updates, and talk about the supplies that I use when I do my bullet journal. I had a bunch of different little topics that I wanted to talk about, so I thought it would be fun to just put them all in one video together and answer a bunch of questions that I get all the time and address some new things that are happening. The first thing that I really wanted to say was thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed or has been watching my videos the past year or so. Just in the past couple of weeks, I have finally made it into the YouTube Partner Program, which is such an insane and cool step for me. If you don't know what that means, I finally reached the threshold that you have to get to be able to monetize my videos that are on YouTube, and I just really appreciate all of the love and support I've gotten on a lot of my videos that I've made recently and on my YouTube shorts and on TikTok and Instagram and everything like that. I have been making videos on YouTube since I was like 11 years old, and I would just make them about anything that I was doing for fun, like when I used to make stop motion animation videos. Then when I was in middle and high school, I made a lot more documentary and short film type videos, but only in the past 2 years have I really taken YouTube seriously and put myself on a schedule to make really consistent videos about very consistent topics, which has been bullet journaling. But to me, it's really cool that once I've finally started really putting in the effort to make really consistent and high quality content, I finally reached a subscriber base and viewers that appreciate the kind of videos that I make. And that's just really cool to me. So thank you so much for subscribing and watching all my videos and commenting the nicest stuff all the time. I really appreciate it. The other thing is that I got a haircut. I'm one of those people who every time I get a haircut, I'm like, oh, I'm totally gonna go again in 3 months to, you know, maintain and trim my hair. And then I don't get another haircut for a year to a year and a half after that. And that happened this past time I got my haircut also. I last got my haircut in October 2022, and I finally just got another haircut November 2023. But yeah, I cut 9 inches off of my hair. If you're wondering, I mean, I'm wearing a scarf right now, but when my hair is all completely down, this is kind of a shag cut because I have bangs and a lot of shorter face framing pieces. And then I got a bunch of layers around the back, and I really like it. I'm really happy with having short hair right now. Truly to my core, I am a long hair girl. I will probably always have long hair. Sometimes it's really fun to switch it up, and I haven't had hair this short since I was 19, so I'm really excited to have it again. Okay, so the main thing that we wanted to talk about in this video is my bullet journal supplies, which I have talked about before, but I've never made a dedicated video that you can reference if you need to know what I'm talking about, because I feel like I don't mention my supplies in every video. I will just mention one specific thing that I'm using. So I'm going to make you a little guide here on all of the supplies that I like to use when I do my bullet journaling. If you want to go and buy some of them, you can. I do have a TikTok on this that is pinned to the top of my TikTok profile. The number one question that I get asked all the time is, what journal do you use? Great question, because people are always astounded that I use so much ink and markers on the pages of my journal, and I'm still able to draw front and back on a piece of paper in the journal, and the ink doesn't bleed through the pages. And I know it took me a long time to find this also, but the journals that I use are from a brand called Archer and Olive. They really specialize in doing bullet journaling journals and other notebooks for artists. Truly, when I say these are the best notebooks, they're so high quality. They feel really good, super high quality. They are completely bound, so they look really nice sitting on your shelf. It's not spiral bound, and the pages are really thick. I have used so many different types of materials on these pages, and I've never had anything bleed through the page. I mentioned this in a TikTok one time. The only material that I've ever had bleed through one of these pages is a Sharpie, but I don't ever use Sharpies in my journal, so it hasn't really been a problem. On Archer and Olive's website, they also specify that you can use acrylic paint in these journals, and I mean, the pages will warp a little bit, but they don't bleed through the pages, which is crazy. I have used Archer and Olive the past 3 years. These are the 3, I know I got 2 of the same one for 2021 and 2022 because I loved this design. This is a holographic rainbow on it. And I also wanted to say that I've already ordered my journal for 2024. If you saw the YouTube short and TikTok that I posted asking which journal I should buy, thank you to everyone who gave me such great responses. I did order the blue denim journal that has the 3 embroidered daisies on it. That one across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube was by far the most popular one, and everyone was saying that one's the most me, and I definitely agree. So that's the one that I got. It is in the mail now, coming to me. The other thing about Archer and Olive is that they have journals in lots of different sizes. People always ask me what size journal I use. These are A5, which I think is a really great size for a journal because it's small enough that you can like throw it into your bag and it's not like taking up too much space. They also do sell square notebooks that I'm actually really interested in and have been wanting to try. So I might be getting one of those just to use as a sketchbook. Archer and Olive also sells other stationery supplies, like they sell pens and markers and stuff like that, but what I've always been gravitating towards on their website is their notebooks. Another thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to my journal supplies is the fact that I have a regular sketchbook in addition to my bullet journal. So I feel like a common thing that people always talk about in my comments and when people talk to me in real life about bullet journaling is how do I make something so perfect on every page. And first of all, I would like to say that there are lots of things that I make that are not perfect and things that I don't like. Even once I finish them, I'll just leave them if I don't like them. But I think what people are trying to get at when they ask that is how do you get something so nice on the first try? And the answer is that I do not. I do a lot of my sketching in my sketchbook before I transfer it onto my actual bullet journal page. So this is just like a cheap sketchbook that is from Michaels. This is the Artist's Loft brand. If you're getting a sketchbook, like, they're all fine. It really doesn't matter. And honestly, in my sketchbook, I mostly only use pencil in here, so it really doesn't matter. This is a sketchbook that I use just for fun if I'm doing a sketch or if I'm working on a project for a client. I will do my initial rounds of sketches in here before I transfer it onto my computer because most of my work I do digitally on Photoshop or Illustrator on my computer. But I do also use this notebook for thumbnailing for my bullet journal. So for example, over here I will show some close-ups of everything that I'm talking about. I did some thumbnails for, this was my June bullet journal theme for Hey Jude, or Hey June for the Beatles, and I wasn't sure what I wanted the layout of that to be, so I just did some quick thumbnails there to figure out what I wanted it to look like. I've also done that for other months where I didn't have a very clear idea of what I wanted. Here is the sketchbook page that I did for the Barbie theme, because I had a bunch of different ideas for that one, and I wanted to make sure that the one I settled on to do on the actual page was the one that was going to look the best in the layout. I always think that it's good to just have a random sketchbook like this that you don't care about to put all of your ideas into, especially all of your bad ideas, because it can be very daunting to just look at a blank spread in your journal that you know you want to look nice at the end and not be 100% sure what you're going to draw. So I always like to put all of my random ideas in here before I transfer them into my journal. Now it's time to get into the pens section. I feel like this is the thing that people are always asking about. What fineliners do you use? What markers do you use? How do you get such vibrant colors on your pages? And I will answer all of your questions here. So starting from the beginning, I just sketch in pencil. These are my favorite pencils. They're just like the Bic. I think they're called the Sparkle mechanical pencils. I just like the way they feel, and I have like 500 of these. I don't know how I've accumulated all of them, but these are just my favorite. And then I just use, this is the Staedtler Mars plastic eraser. These are like what they always told us to get when I was in art school, other than using a kneaded eraser. But I am a very sensitive to texture person, and I do not like the way kneaded erasers feel in my hands. They are just kind of like sticky and they get warm, and I just I don't like holding or touching kneaded erasers, so I've always gravitated towards these. This is just like a white plastic eraser. So those are what I use just for sketching, and I will go in like layers and layers and layers of stuff like that. I also like these erasers because you can also just like press like that and it will just lift up a little bit of the ink, or not the ink, a little bit of the pencil mark, so that it's just like a light faded area there. If you want to like keep that line but not have it be so dark, you don't have to like scrub it like this. You can just like lift. It's very nice to use. And then people always ask me what are the fineliners that I use. I am almost always in every video using these. These are the Sakura Pigma Micron pens. I feel like you've definitely seen a million people use these before. These are pretty standard pens to use. They are a little bit expensive. I feel like most good quality fineliners are a little bit more expensive and you do go through them really fast, but I feel like it's worth it to have a pen that you know won't smudge if you erase over it or you draw a marker through it. These are so good. They do not smudge. And the other thing is, I used to use the Faber-Castell PITT artist pens, which I still do use these in a couple of sizes and I like them. But these, what I've noticed is that if you use an eraser on top of it, like if you go over your pencil marks with the fine liner and then you go in to erase the pencil, this ink fades a little bit if you erase it, which is fine, but it kind of bothered me. So I pretty much mostly use these ones now. All fine liners like this come in 1 million sizes. The tips that I like the most, this is the 08 tip, and I also like the 05. Those are the ones that I use most often in my journal, but I also have some of the even smaller ones like the 02. Oh, this is 10, so this is a thicky girl. Those are what I use when I'm drawing in my bullet journal, so any spread, that's what is used to draw everything on the page pretty much. And then the pen that I use to write in my bullet journal, like if I'm writing in numbers or writing in my to-do list or writing in my calendar, I am always using the Staedtler Triplus Fineliner pens. These are, you've probably seen these before because the tube is a triangle, and because of that it makes it very ergonomic to hold, because if you hold your pencil correctly, as they say, which I sometimes do and I sometimes don't, it rests very naturally in your hand. They're very small tips, but they're super precise, and I think I talked about this in my last video, in my Gilmore Girls bullet journal video. What I really like about these pens is that sometimes if you use a pen that has this small of a tip, when you write on the page, sometimes it feels like it's gonna break. The tip is gonna break under the weight of your hand pressing on the paper, and these always feel strong. I like the way that these feel sturdy, but the tip is still very small and thin, and I like that. 5 years ago I got a set of these Triplus fine liners in like 50 colors, and I still have all of them. I used to like swap out the color that I was using to write on the pages a lot more, but I don't do that as much anymore. It doesn't say on here if these are like oil-based or water-based pens, but I have found that these do smudge if you draw over them with marker, so I try to leave these to the end of my drawing process. Okay, moving on. The other question that I get asked a lot about pens is what gel pens do I use? And the answer is I have two that I really like. The ones that I am using almost all the time are the Sakura Jelly Roll pens. You've probably seen these before too. They're super thick. They have different tip sizes, but most of them are a little bit thicker, and these are like the juiciest, yummiest pens to draw with. They're so satisfying, and they come in lots of different colors. The ones that I like the most are the metallic ones. So I have this like metallic gunmetal, gold, and silver. I use these a lot in addition to my white one when I want to add highlights on top of a drawing and stuff like that. These work best on top of any of these fine liners. I will say they don't draw very well over top of my markers. I'm pretty sure it's because the markers that I use are water-based ink, and it kind of just eats up at the gel ink. The other gel pen that I like is the Uni-Ball Signo Gel Pen. This I learned about from an artist on YouTube and TikTok named Scott Christian Sava. I'm sure that if you've watched my videos, you've probably seen him before too. He's a great artist, and he uses these all the time in his paintings. This is a really great gel pen, and like truly is like the most opaque ink and looks good over everything. I've only ever tried this in the white, but I'm interested in trying it in some other colors as well. So I usually use this as my white one, and then I'll use these for any color. And then the other thing that I use a lot if I'm filling in a big section of space on the page is the Posca brand paint pens. Talked at length about these in videos before because I have kind of mixed feelings about them. These are extremely expensive for what they are. I feel conflicted about it because they definitely do work better than most other paint pens that I've ever used, but I still don't think they're worth the price, because especially with a paint pen like this, you're gonna go through it so fast that I feel like I can't justify how much better it is than other paint pens. I've used this in mostly only black and white in a couple of sizes when I want to fill in full pages of ink. So what I use when I don't want to repurchase more of these is just like a regular off-brand paint pen. I've used like regular Michaels brand Artist Loft paint pens also, and like I said, they're definitely not as opaque. They don't draw as smooth as the Posca pens, but like, do they make the whole page black? Yeah, that's like the whole That's the whole point of what I was trying to do anyway. So those are all of the pens and pencils that I use in my journal. Last thing that I'm going to show is the markers that I use. I feel like I always say this in videos. The markers that I use are the Tombow dual brush pens. You can get them at Michael's. I've seen them at Target, Walmart, Amazon. You can get them lots of different places. They are a water-based ink, and I think that they last for a really long time. Like, truly, these are some of my favorite pens that I've ever used. I got the first pack of them like randomly for my birthday when I was in high school. I truly became obsessed with them overnight, and the first pack that I got like 6 years ago, I still have them and they still have ink. Like, I don't know how that's possible. I have collected an insane number of these pens over the years. People know that I love them now, so I get packs of them like for my birthday and for Christmas. I think the best thing to do is to go on a little trip to Michael's or Joann's or Target or Walmart or wherever and look at the different color packs they have. They sell these pens in packs of 10 with different color schemes in mind. So they have like a groovy retro color scheme. They have like a pastel cottagecore color scheme, and you can go in and pick them out like that. And most stores also have them where you can buy them individually. I think it's more cost effective if you buy them in packs. I like these a lot because they have two ends. The one end is a brush pen, and these are nice because some brush pens are too flexible and they don't, like I said before, they don't hold the weight of your hand pressing on the paper. These are firm brush tip pens, so you can use these for calligraphy if you like that, because there's a lot of control in this tip. You can also use them just to like fill in big spaces on a page, and they don't collapse under the weight of you scribbling with them. And they also on the other end have a small bullet nib. These are great too if you're just drawing, if you're doing line art. I like doing line art with these as well if I'm not doing like black line art. The other thing is, I do think a lot of them are very true to the cap color, which is something that really bothers me about some marker brands when the color of the ink is not similar to the color of the cap. I've always felt like almost all of these are really similar. The only ones that I think are a little bit weird are some of their like peachy and brown tones are a little bit weird and have weird undertones, but all of the fun, funky colors, they are very true to the cap color, which is very important. Okay, so now that we finished doing my little walkthrough of all of my supplies, I just have a couple other things that I wanted to chat about in today's video to get your input on, and just to let you know some other things that are happening in my life. First thing is an update for my last video. If you didn't know, my last video was doing a journal with me for my Gilmore Girls themed bullet journal theme. I talked in that video how I had never seen the series before, but people kept commenting on my TikToks asking me to do a Gilmore Girls bullet journal theme, and I had to keep telling them I've never seen it, so I can't do that. But it finally got to a point where that was my most requested theme of all time, so I decided that I had to watch it, and since it was becoming fall, I started watching it in September. I finished it, the whole series, 2 nights ago. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much to everyone who kept commenting and asking me to watch it, because I really truly enjoyed it so much. I'm currently watching the 2016 reunion, A Year in the Life, on Netflix, and I've been enjoying that so far too. But yeah, I just wanted to let everyone know that I finished it. I feel like the top questions, people kept DMing me on Instagram and commenting on my TikTok asking which of Rory's boyfriends do I like the best. I have to say I do like Jess the best. I don't hate Logan or Dean, but I don't really care about any of them, honestly. I just care about Luke and Lorelai. They were my absolute favorite couple throughout the whole show. In every episode, I was just hoping that they would get together. I do hate Christopher though. He was like my least favorite. I hated him. But yeah, that's my update on Gilmore Girls. Okay, and then the couple other things that I wanted to talk about are things that are coming up for the rest of the year. So as you guys know, if you've watched any of my journal with me videos, throughout this entire year I have been turning every bullet journal spread that I've ever done into a digital format so that they can be sold on my Etsy shop as printable and digital download versions of my journal. That has been like a year-long project that I've been doing, hopefully to be able to convert all 3 of my bullet journals into printable versions for Etsy, hopefully for the beginning of 2024. I'm a little bit overwhelmed because I have a good chunk done, but I am going to have to kick it into overdrive to get everything finished for January. So if you're looking for a bullet journal to get started with. If you've never done it before and you're intimidated to make something like this, like by yourself with no ideas or help, all of the spreads that I've done, all of the themes are available on my Etsy shop. In hopefully sometime in December, the full year will be available, because right now I'm just selling them month by month, so you can buy like an October theme that you want and a November theme that you want all separately. But my goal is to have a full year set by January so that you can buy it for 2024. So the way that they are going to be structured is the themes are going to be based on what I've done. So all of the themes for 2023 will be together. All of the themes from 2022 are going to be together, like you would be flipping through my own bullet journal. And same for 2021. They are updated to be used any year, so they don't have any year specific dates on them, so you can, save them for another year if you want as well. I just mentioned that because if you want to pick and choose certain themes from each year, like if you don't want all of the themes that were in 2023, if you want some from the other years, you do have to buy them individually. I have gotten a lot of great feedback on those already, and so I appreciate everyone who has bought one so far and has used it. I would love if you sent me pictures of you using them. A couple people have asked how to use them. So if you're printing them out, I've seen a couple pictures of people who just like print them onto 8.5 by 11 piece of printer paper and then put it into like a 3-ring binder, and you could use it like that. Or something that was really creative that I saw, somebody sent me this on TikTok. They had bought one of my printables and basically cut out individual pieces of it. So like they cut out the letters, they cut out the grids, and then glued them into their notebook so that they could rearrange the page as they wanted, which I thought was really creative and a cool way to use them. And so then that way it looked a little bit different than it did in my journal, which I thought was really cool. As a reminder, those printables come in black and white and full color. So if you want the colored versions, they will look exactly like they do in my journal. Or if you want the black and white versions, you can color them in any colors that you like, which I think is super fun. So that is my little update on my printables. And that brings me into my second topic. People ask me all the time where they can buy a journal like mine in a bound book with all of the stuff printed on the pages, and unfortunately that product does not exist yet. Have always been interested in doing a published blank bullet journal that you can fill out, but it's very difficult. I've been looking into self-publishing something like that, but it's just like a very large scale project, and since I had already committed to doing the printable versions of my journal, I'm trying to finish that project first before I look into doing a published book. I've also gotten emails before of people asking if I can just draw them a blank journal, like I'll draw all of the pages in black and white and then mail it to them so they can color it. And as much as I would love to do that, I really don't think it's worth my time and your money to do that. It would be ungodly expensive because it would take me so long to do that I just don't think that it's worth it to do that. And I think that the time would better be invested in looking on getting a regular journal published. So yeah, I've been looking into doing that. I don't know what the timeline for that would be, but I just wanted to let everyone know that it is something that I'm interested in doing because of how many inquiries I've gotten about buying a journal like that. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is what to look for on my channel for the rest of the year. I've been trying to do 2 videos a month on my channel. That's one journal with me video for my monthly bullet journal, and then one other video. I haven't done it every month, but I feel like most months this year I've done at least one extra video. The videos that I have coming for the rest of the year, obviously I'll be having my December bullet journal with me, and then at the end of December I'll have my full bullet journal flip through, which even if you've watched all of my journal with me videos from this year, I would still recommend checking out that video because there are more spreads in my journal that I've done since journal with me videos went live. So there's things that you haven't seen before that are in my journal that I've just done like in my own time for fun. I'm also considering doing like a full set up my journal with me for 2024 kind of video. I've never done like follow along journal setup video because I feel like I'm always like really stressed at the beginning of the year trying to get all of my 2024 spreads and my January spreads ready all at once. But yeah, that will hopefully be coming at the beginning of January. I also did last year a video talking about yearly goals, and that was one of my favorite videos that I did last year randomly, where I just talked about all of the yearly goals that I had set for myself for 2022 and how I did on them, and then what my goals were for the upcoming year, 2023. And I thought it would be cool to do a second part to that video talking about 2023's goals and the ones that I'm setting for 2024, so I think that should be coming in the end of December, early January as well. And the last thing that I wanted to leave you guys with was a question to see what you're interested in video-wise. I have a couple of ideas for new videos, but I wanted to hear what your favorite videos are that I make. So obviously I will continue doing journal with me videos, hopefully forever, because those are my favorite videos to make. But I've also made a lot of videos about Taylor Swift this year, which I feel like has been some of my best received videos. People always have so much to say, and we always have great conversations in the comments of those videos. So hopefully I'll make some more videos about Taylor Swift. I also was wondering if anyone would be interested in other videos about art that isn't bullet journaling. I feel like I only did 1 or 2 videos like that this year. I know I did in February a video where I designed some Valentine's Day cards. I did make a video sewing together my outfit for the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, which I think both of those were fun, but I don't know if that's something that everyone's really interested in, so let me know if you are interested in videos like that that are more crafty or just any art that's not bullet journaling, and also whether or not you would be interested in more tutorial style videos about art or about journaling. All of my bullet journal videos are very vlog style because I'm just like, hey, this is what I'm doing. You can watch me do it and I'll talk about something else while I'm doing it. And I mean, I like making videos like that because it's more chatty for me. But yeah, if you want something that is more tutorial based, where I'm actually talking through the steps on how to do something, I would love to hear if that's something you're interested in. But I think that was all the things that I wanted to talk about in this video. So thank you so much for hanging out and for watching all my videos and helping me to get into the YouTube Partner Program. I really, really appreciate it. It's so cool to me that after so many years of just making videos for fun, that it finally feels like something that is consistent and real in my life, and that there are people out there that actually watch my videos and enjoy them. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye. Sure.